But yeah, do you have any other questions?
I got a list. So, what steps should I take to achieve financial success at my age? I know we've touched a few parts, but like building my credit score, or how, kind of like down along those lines.
I'm just going to throw a quick jab in here, and then I'll let Matt take some advice over. I don't know how many people you watch on YouTube, but honestly, start sitting down and just building a list of people that have a lot more wealth than we do. Like, because we're still in this game just as much, but it's kind of nice because we're like a mid step up from where you want to be, and then from there we're looking at people like Grant Cardone. Like, look at everything, man. Look at real estate. Look at online businesses. Look at more stocks. Look at just buying individual companies like me and Matt are doing, because it's pretty much the easiest way to get rich in the stock market with very little downside if you actually follow the steps that we constantly talk about, and just absorb all of it, and then just start slowly building out, because you don't want to just be this one thing. You don't want to just be in the stock market. You don't want to just be doing your one job, doing security. You kind of want to just start slowly building, like you said, because you want passive income sources. That's how everybody gets rich. Most people that become millionaires have, what is it like you said, it's usually around several sources of income, and it just starts small, man. Like, I've got at least, I think, 3 or 4 sources of income right now. 1 or 2 of them is active, and then the other 3 are just slowly passively building. But I'll let Matt take over and see if he's got anything.
No, yeah, I mean, I think it's you should probably sit down. A lot of what Kyle said is true. A lot of them start off really small, and a really good quote that I heard from Steve Harvey was, I think a lot of folks look for the 1 or 2 ideas that can make them $1 million, and sometimes the probability of those actually working is extremely small, and so the ability for people to actually execute that actually is just very fractional compared to if you try to get a bunch of $10, $100,000 ideas kind of going, then that's what kind of forms the foundation of what you can build off of. Now, there are some people that work extremely hard and unfortunately still don't come up with anything to show for at the very end of it. But I mean, there are some folks that I've seen on like Bigger Pockets, which is like a real estate investing site, that are very creative. So you can be, if you have a lot of risk tolerance, you can get extremely creative with real estate, buying and selling contracts to purchase real estate. And also some of the stuff that Kyle and I are trying to do, which is like forming businesses online that you can then try to funnel people into purchasing, whether that's drop shipping, what have you. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do and try. But it all depends on what works for you, right? What fits your, I guess, time horizon, what fits your risk tolerance, what fits your, I guess, expertise. Like for me, I know for a fact that I'm not a very good marketer. I can talk to people and I have good fundamental knowledge about the stock market, and I can go very in depth with respect to talking about details. But marketing myself, I'm not very good at. I have a decent personality and can talk to people one-on-one very well. But other than that, trying to create like marketing videos doesn't work for me. So drop shipping and things like creating advertisements to try to sell things wouldn't work for me. So that's my sort of my thought process. But
and it's good to recognize some faults too, right? Because you got to learn your faults and find people to fill them. Another good point too is usually most people don't get rich by themselves. It's a hard thing to realize when you start starting your own business and stuff. Usually you like to be in control of everything, but honestly, getting wealthy on your own is a bit of a challenge unless you're just going to. If you're starting a business, I mean, most people have a hard time doing everything because you're going to be your own accountant. You got to do your own, like Matt was saying, you basically have to be your own marketer. You have to be everything, which usually isn't always the best case. But do you have any other questions?
What are the realistic outcomes that I should be expecting in the next few following?
If you do what we told you, if you do what I just told you, those are your realistic outcomes. Compound calculator.
Okay.
If you follow the basic advice, which is just put $500 away a month in a Vanguard index fund, if you can get average market return of 10% in 20 years, you'll have $378. But if you want to be a real baller, you want to be putting away $1,000 to $1,500 a month, which means you probably want to go out and find any job you can possibly get that'll pay you the highest premium you're going to get at your age, which honestly, the second you can be legal enough to, well, you're in the States, so you have to wait till 21 to do bartending, I guess, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's the number one. If you just want quick money right now to start building, man, just try and find a high premium income job. And honestly, the easiest job I think I could recommend working in the entertainment industry is bartending. Honestly, some of the bartenders I work with, it jaw dropping how much money they make on a weekend. So I mean, you can work 3 days a week, make a full time income, try and bank 50% of it. If you can start putting away $1,000 a month, I mean, in a decade, like that becomes some serious capital, my man. Let me take a look here real quick. I'm sorry, I don't. I've been using the compound calculator a lot. It's basically like my go-to explanation lately. But let's presume you're able to put $1,000 away a month in the next decade, if that's going to add up correctly here. Yeah, you should end up with about a couple $100,000 if you do it right. I don't know any other YouTubers out there that do it much differently. I mean, I followed, like, if you want to go take a look at like Grant Cardone, Valuetainment's an amazing channel.
Valuetainment's really good.
Yeah, like just start watching these guys, and they'll warp your mind in a direction where you probably just want to focus on getting your income up. And like I said, I'm not trying to like downgrade day trading too much, but it's just that we don't follow that philosophy as much. So I mean, I know how to get. My favorite advice ever is you can either get rich for sure, you can get rich quick, right? And like we can show you the for sure way that seems to work, or you can try the other route. But we don't. I don't know too many day traders that stand up that are like, I can make you rich for sure. I can confidently, with the advice I could give you, I can make you rich for sure. It's just not going to be quick. But I'll let Matt add to that. If he's got
No, yeah, that's 100% true. I mean, crap, it just left my mind what I was trying to think. But yeah, a lot of it as well is also very dependent on what percentage of your income you're saving. So in the case of like, if you want to achieve financial independence, it's a two-part equation, right? It's about how much you can save and what your expenses are. So the easiest way to retire early is to not spend any money. But then you're not able to really like live a good life, right? And so you kind of have to find the balance as to what makes you happiest in life. It's an opportunity cost. I know plenty of people that I have worked with and also have been friends with in the past that they buy anything and everything and they save zero money, and then they look at me envious that, you know, I'm able to, you know, do and have these passive income streams coming through. But at the end of the day, they buy things that they don't necessarily care about. So it's not about being a minimalist or anything like that. It's about understanding what makes you tick. You know, maybe you love running, or maybe you love guitar, and maybe you love something else. So if you put all your eggs in those sort of baskets and you love those three things, you know, spend money in those three things, but don't go buy a brand new car if all you care about is how nice of a stereo it has. You know, if buying a nice car makes you happy, then go ahead and by all means do that. But don't buy a nice car and then buy like a motorcycle if you don't ever care about motorcycles. The amount of people that I like knew growing over the past 6 or so years that have bought a motorcycle and have ridden it twice over the past 5 years that they've had it is like astonishing. And it's just like, wow, you just dropped $10,000 on this motorcycle and you've ridden it twice, you know? It's like they got their motorcycle license just to kind of do it. And then, you know, so I don't know how you feel. I think me and Kyle look at this as a sport, investing as a sport, making passive income streams as a sport. And it's a passion of mine. I mean, I now look at myself as an investor, businessman, first and second, and now an engineer, which is what I do by education and for work on a day-to-day basis, third. And that's kind of how I shaped my mindset. And so
yeah, Matt's a good question, man. Matt's a good guy to take some advice from here, because Matt actually, you know, he has the full circle going on. He's got the great job. You know, he went to school. He's got a great education. He just works hard and, you know, makes time for stuff like this too, right? Like he's an incredible example of just what can be accomplished in such a short period of time if you just do it right. And there's nothing saying like you might not find something you want to get an education for either. I'm still sitting here debating on if I want to take some financial degrees, because you can do most of the work from home now and just to have it could really step up your game on your income. I mean, short-term pain for long-term gain, perhaps, but it just depends on, like Matt said, like where you want to go with this. But you're going to end up spitting off into a bunch of directions if you do start kind of going down our path. But yeah, Matt's doing really well, man. It's a great guy to take some advice from. But what are any other questions